Renewed urgency to get a new water main built.
This is a ticking time bomb underneath our streets.
The mayor warns of a new normal when it comes to water conservation. Plus, market panic after America's seizure of Venezuela's president.
People are hitting the sell button first and asking questions later.
But what are the implications for Canada's oil industry? And one of the brightest lights behind this seasonal festival.
It takes about 2,000 hours of man-hours of actual work to actually assemble this.
Retiring after nearly 40 years of volunteering.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Thousands of Calgarians return to work and school today, ready to take on a brand new year. We are doing it, though, as an old problem plagues the city, an aging water main that the mayor warns could explode again at any time. The latest fix along 16th Avenue Northwest should be completed early next week, but Calgarians are being told to adapt to a new normal and conserve as much water as possible. Tyson Fedor is at the scene of that latest break. And Tyson, a new pipe will go in beside that one, but officials are warning this could be a trying 2 years ahead.
Tara, most certainly will be, and that new pipe is expected to be parallel to that Bears Paw main feeder behind me. As you can see, work is continuing at this time, but construction should start on that new steel pipe sometime later this year. And get ready, because water restrictions could be in place over several months over the next 2 years. So that means come the spring and the fall, those restrictions could be back in place. What they look like, that's still undetermined. But with less water flow to stock those reservoirs here in the city, the Calgarians are needing to turn those taps off just a little bit sooner, or catastrophic failures could happen to our water supply. It's been nearly 1 week since Calgary suffered another major water main break, impacting water use citywide and traffic in the northwest.
As long as we got Boneff Road here, I'm okay.
The city says work is ongoing 24/7 to fix the burst water main along 16th Avenue Northwest near the Sarcee Trail interchange.
It's a wake-up call for the city government to do a better job from now on.
Mort Doran, who lives nearby, is encouraged that the city will construct a new feeder main parallel to the current end-of-life pipe over the next 2 years.
You can't get around it. You can't patch it. You can't fake it that it's going to get better on its own. You just have to do it. That's part of maintaining infrastructure.
A design has been chosen, and the construction will begin later this year on a new 6-kilometer steel pipe to replace the aging cement one.
Out to market to hire a contractor right now. We will do everything we can to accelerate the timeline faster than we had before. We were planning to have this new pipe done in 2028. We are going to go faster, and we don't know what that looks like yet.
Mayor Jeremy Farkas is anticipating an independent panel report on the burst pipe from 2024 due to council on Tuesday. It will be released publicly early next week.
The pipe is failing because it is breaking down from the inside. That damage cannot be fixed. It will never be fixed.
Boil water advisories have been lifted in the city, but residents and businesses are stuck with stage 4 water restrictions. Officials want you to take 3-minute showers, only flush your toilet when necessary, and ensure full loads of laundry and dishes before cleaning them.
Things will not truly be back to normal until the new pipe is built and fully operational. But if we stay focused and look out for one another, we will get through this together.
And as restrictions are expected to be part of the new normal, according to Mayor Farkas, businesses are hoping not to see a repeat of lost revenue due to construction work that is anticipated.
Business pessimism is at the highest level since 2023, and challenges like this really are just one more layer of difficulty and a very challenging way to start off a new year.
And Mayor Jeremy Farkas will join us in studio just a little later in this newscast to talk about the ongoing water restrictions. To the situation in Venezuela now. Nicolas Maduro appeared in a New York federal courtroom today on charges of narco-terrorism. This after the United States captured him in a surprise military attack over the weekend. And now Donald Trump is putting other countries on notice. CTV's Joy Melvin reports.
Dramatic images show Nicolas Maduro, who days ago was Venezuela's president, handcuffed and escorted by police officers. He and his wife Celia Flores charged in the U.S. with narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation, and weapons offenses. Maduro defiantly told the judge in Spanish, "I was captured at my home in Caracas, Venezuela. I am innocent. I am not guilty. I am still the president of my country." Maduro's lawyer attacked the U.S. military raid, the abduction and arrest, as many question, was this even legal? Demonstrators lining the courthouse. Some celebrated President Trump for bringing down a brutal dictator. Others pleaded no more war. At the UN Security Council, several nations condemned the Trump administration's military raid, calling it a breach of international law.
I remain deeply concerned that rules of international law have not been respected. The Charter enshrines the prohibition of the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state.
Still, President Trump's not backing down.
We're going to run it, fix it. We'll have elections at the right time.
Last night, insisting America will tap into Venezuela's rich oil supply, warning Maduro's acting president Delcy Rodriguez to cooperate or else.
If they don't behave, we will do a second strike.
And boldly issuing new threats against Mexico, Greenland, and Colombia.
Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long.
The White House claims its actions are justified and will brief lawmakers tonight. As for Maduro, he's claiming diplomatic immunity, and this will not be a swift trial. He's back in court March 17th. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
And we are following local reaction to the news out of Venezuela. Jacqueline Wilson is covering the story for us tonight. Jackie, how's the energy sector reacting?
Tara, so the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers tells me that they are monitoring this situation right now, and they say that this situation really underscores the need for Canada to continue and to drive to be, a competitive environment for international investment. Other industry experts and the Premier also said today that it's really important that we have a strong and a stable energy industry. And of course, this is all happening as the energy stock market today took a bit of a dip. Shares in Canada's biggest oil sands producers were down on Monday after the U.S. military captured Venezuela's leader, and President Donald Trump announced plans to put the country's oil industry into the hands of American companies.
People are hitting the sell button first and asking questions later.
The TSX Energy Subindex was down more than 3%.
Now you have this impacting Alberta producers. Couldn't have come at a worse time. And so it's going to impact the entire country. And hopefully that's enough of a wake-up call to put forward and get this memorandum of understanding put into action and getting a pipeline built so we can get that oil to other markets.
One energy expert thinks there's been an overreaction to how this will impact the energy sector.
I think everybody needs to take a deep breath. What Trump is saying is a long ways from what will happen in the near term. It's going to take billions and billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars and years and management talent to make that happen. And right now, if anything, there's less production coming out of Venezuela than there was last week, and probably will be short-term positive for oil prices for Alberta.
In his statement, Premier Danielle Smith saying that the situation emphasizes the importance of expediting the development of pipelines to diversify our oil export markets, and that the province is working to submit an application to the Major Project Office.
We as Canada need to make sure that we take strategic steps so that we can get our oil to market, particularly to the Asian market, as a means of saying we're independent.
Many experts agree Canada's push to become less reliant on America and to increase capacity to the Pacific is the best way to bring stability to Canada's energy sector. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
Calgary's Venezuelan community is reacting to the seizure of leader Nicolas Maduro by American armed forces. One man who moved to Calgary from Venezuela 20 years ago has organized numerous rallies about ongoing political strife back home. He's calling on the Canadian government to support the South American nation in a transition to democracy.
Path for democracy in Venezuela, for the human rights, for the release of all political prisoners that we have right now, And after we have a new government and a new system in Venezuela, I'm hoping and I'm expecting that the Canadian government will support the rebuild of democracy in Venezuela.
Ramirez calls Maduro a cruel dictator and a cruel human being.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
We have new footage to show you of the explosion at the Tabor Arena last month. The town of Tabor is sharing the footage showing the moment of the explosion. Walls, the roof, and gas lines were damaged, shutting the building down indefinitely. No one was hurt, and the cause of the blast has not been confirmed. Town officials are now entering the annual Hockeyville campaign, where communities receive funding for arena upgrades and renovations. Well, you've no doubt noticed the lovely scenery around town over the past few days. This is a look at the Bow River at the Peace Bridge today. All of the trees are coated with rime ice, which forms in foggy conditions like those that we have experienced lately. Danielle joins us now. It is very pretty to look at.
It is. Should I get a little sciencey here with this? With the rime ice, the hoarfrost, all that kind of... Okay. This is the rime ice. So quick thing about hoarfrost, which this is not hoarfrost, and it's sometimes hard to tell the difference. Hoarfrost basically skips this stage, so it goes straight from water vapor to ice, and it looks a little more delicate. We've had a lot of freezing fog over the past week, and so that really starts to accumulate. So this rime ice is basically when you get super cool liquid droplets and it freezes on contact. Another cool thing when you're out there taking pictures, if you want to look at the difference, a lot of times with rime ice, it forms on one side of the tree and not on the other because it shows the wind direction when the deposits are being made. All right. There's a little science thing for you. All right, let's fast forward to these cooler temperatures, minus 15. It feels like minus 22. It's definitely cold out there. But when you look at the next 24 hours, you'll notice quite a difference tomorrow. Still a little cool to start, wind chill of minus 12 early in the morning. But the winds will pick up out of the southwest. A nice little Chinook type flow that will get us up to plus 2 in the afternoon. Your full forecast coming up, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Stay with us on CTV News at 6. Mayor Jeremy Farkas joins us next with more details about the water main repairs and how we may all be affected. That's next. Let's return to our top story now. The city of Calgary expects a broken water main will be fixed by early next week. In the meantime, though, Calgarians need to adapt to a new normal, and they're being urged to conserve as much water as possible. Calgary Mayor Jeremy Farkas joins us in studio tonight. Thank you for making time for us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. You are really not mincing your words today to try to get across the seriousness of this situation. You've even said this could be life-threatening.
Yeah, this is a very serious situation we're facing as a city. This water pipe that is underneath our streets, it is a ticking time bomb. No amount of patchwork repairs is going to be able to fix this for good. The only long-term fix is completely replacing the line. So we want it to be as transparent as possible with Calgarians, letting them know that this could break again next week, it could break again next month or next year. The only fix will be to completely replace the line.
Okay, so you said today that we are in a new normal of water conservation. I want to be really clear with Calgarians what this means. You're not saying that the restrictions that we're under right now are going to be in place for the next 2 years, but they could be in place off and on for the next 2 years, because this could happen again.
Yeah, that's correct. And we're going to have to be much more proactive, much more preventative when it comes to maintaining this pipe. It is very much a sick, failing pipe that is chronically ill, terminally ill. So we're going to have to be much more aggressive in terms of shutting it down come the spring and the fall. And it could be possible it could break tomorrow, next week, next month. So we have to set the public expectations around that, be fully transparent. And the long-term fix, obviously, is to be able to build that replacement line. But meanwhile, we're going to be receiving a report very soon from an independent panel of experts that talks about the governance, the accountability, the people piece to this. So our council is taking bold action to be able to address this, but we felt it was important, given that this is what we knew, that we were transparent as possible with Calgarians.
This report, the independent report, what are you anticipating that you will learn in it that you don't already know?
So we know that this type of pipe was failing elsewhere in other municipalities. We know that there's certain things that could have contributed to its early failure here in Calgary, soil conditions, maybe the type of maintenance regime that we had here in Calgary. I anticipate it's going to be talking about a stronger governance model. Think, for example, NMAX. Right now, our electric utility has a board of directors, very much stronger accountability mechanism, stronger oversight over management. I'm anticipating that this report will be calling for the same. as well as potentially some other ways that we can further reduce redundancy. Like another question is, why does 60% of Calgary's water go through this pipe? So there's other ways that we can be advancing that infrastructure ask of other levels of government. But for our part, our City Council has approved an unprecedented $1.1 billion in this recent budget, which is nearly 3 times what was spent in recent years. So our council is very serious about addressing this need, not just fixing it for today or tomorrow, but making sure that our system is to last for the next 100 years.
The Premier said a couple of days ago that maybe the province needs to step in and have some sort of oversight with the water system. What do you say to that? And did you speak to the province today?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to speak with the Premier, with various ministers, Minister Ellis, Williams, and others. We welcome the conversation about ways that the province could potentially lean in to better support municipalities in terms of our funding challenges. Not just here in Calgary, but all across municipalities in Alberta. There's a very significant deficit for infrastructure. So we're thinking about ways that, if they're willing to lean in with additional support, that additional support should come with oversight. So very much looking forward to continued conversations, not with just our provincial counterpart, but also our federal counterparts who all across the board have been very deeply engaged with us.
Businesses are telling us when we go out and talk to them, not just in Bowness, but all over the city, that they're really concerned about how this impacts them. Is there a possibility of any funding for businesses?
Yeah, this has been hugely frustrating, not just for residents, but also locally impacted businesses. When you think about everything that Bowness and Montgomery has gone through, not just the feeder main repairs, but also the historic floods in the past, we have to step up. We need to better support our businesses. And during the campaign, I advocated that a certain amount of capital infrastructure funding should have money set aside for business continuity. So better ways that we can support the businesses. And let's make it very clear that these locally impacted businesses today, now more than ever, need our help. So our appeal to Calgarians is to conserve water, but also to help us support those businesses through a really tough time.
I just want to reiterate, you need to keep the water usage under 485 million litres per day right now. We're going over that. So just really quickly, what are some really easy ways that Calgarians can help?
So we're asking Calgarians to step up to be able to support us, not just for conservation's sake, but to help our first responders. We are entering loss of life territory where if we continue on our current trends, we will not have the water pressure needed to maintain our fire hydrants. So this is a very important issue. Ways that we can help is by only flushing your toilets when necessary, keeping your showers to about 3 minutes, only running the dishwasher and laundry when they're full. This is an incredibly urgent situation that we're in for the next few days. We do have an end in sight. We do have a long-term fix, but in the interim, we need to rally as Team Calgary to get this done.
Okay, Mayor Farkas, thank you for coming in tonight and for making time for us.
Yeah, thank you as well to Calgarians. I know this has been such a frustrating situation. I'm as frustrated as anybody else. The end is in sight, but we got to rally for just a little bit longer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Well, a man was rushed to hospital after a collision in Mackenzie Town this afternoon. A truck crashed on Mount Douglas Close around 12:30. EMS say the driver was in medical distress. He was taken to hospital in life-threatening condition. Police say speed, alcohol, or drugs were not factors in the crash. A man suffered minor injuries when this motorhome went up in flames in Falcon Ridge early this morning. Crews used suppression foam to put out the fire. The cause of the blaze is under investigation. Calgary police are looking for a man who stabbed another man after a failed robbery. They released a sketch of the man they are looking for. He is in his late 40s, about 6'2" tall with a slim build. Investigators say he tried to rob a man in Fish Creek Park on October 23rd and stabbed him when he refused to hand over his belongings. The victim needed surgery. The suspect was wearing blue Adidas shoes with white stripes, a black baseball cap, and a hoodie. Calgary recorded its lowest number of homicides in the past 10 years in 2025. There were 15 compared to 21 last year. But as Terry Fikowski reports, the decline offers little comfort to the families left with heartbreak.
I remember how bright and beautiful she was.
It has been nearly 6 months since Madison Cobb was killed in Calgary.
Time doesn't help. It doesn't get easier ever.
In July, the 23-year-old was gunned down outside her work in a Haysboro parking garage. Her ex-boyfriend, Devin Malik, was charged with her murder.
You never think that it will be your family until it happens to your family, and then it opens up a whole new world. and it's not a pretty world.
There were fewer killings in 2025 as compared to the previous year, and Calgary saw a decline in homicides over the last 5 years.
The amount of shootings is down. We've seen a decrease in the amount of organized crime activity, especially the violent crime by there. So that's had a big impact on us.
The decline is a province-wide trend, with Statistics Canada reporting Alberta saw a 20% decrease in homicide rates in 2024, one of 4 provinces to see a drop.
When you look at the stats across the country, we still are a safe city, but one homicide is too much.
The numbers mean little to victims' loved ones, left with a lifetime of grief.
It's the criminal justice system around the sentencing, around, what does parole look like, around, how long are people actually staying, or how long of their sentences are they serving.
Taylor Matusik is now channeling grief into change, petitioning to criminalize coercive control. She says Cobb did everything right, including taking out 3 protection orders against her alleged killer.
The moment she serve the restraining order, I think that is where they failed her.
The federal government is proposing amendments to gaps in Canada's criminal code through 2 bills. If passed, they would include reforms around bail and gender-based violence, a step in the right direction for Matusik and her effort to honor her cousin.
She just did amazing things and was very much so a family person.
Terry Fikowski, CTV News, Calgary.
The Calgary security guard who helped capture one of the world's most notorious serial killers more than 40 years ago has died. In 1985, Sean Doyle had a summer job as a security guard at the downtown Bay, where he caught Charles Ng stealing food. Ng shot Doyle in the hand, but Doyle held him down until police arrived. Only later did he learn that Ng was a serial killer, accused of torturing and killing up to 19 people on a California ranch. In 2016, CTV News interviewed Doyle, who said he prayed for the power to forgive Ng. Doyle was an art and English teacher for many years in Calgary and later a principal. His obituary says he passed away last month at age 85, and a service will be held later this year.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Chinook is on the way, and I know that because I have a migraine today. Yeah. I can always tell.
Yes, there's a price, right? The wind, the migraines. But if you've been cooped up inside because it's been too cold for you, well, then the next few days are certainly more for you than what we've had. And this comes already in the Pincher Creek area. So we've had gusts, maximum gusts so far today in Pincher Creek, 67 kilometers per hour, out of the right direction. So temperatures are significantly warmer there. An interesting thing in Lethbridge today is we got to a high of 3 degrees when we were getting these winds over 40 kilometers per hour to the west, but then we got cut off from those winds in the Lethbridge area for the afternoon, and temperatures quickly plummeted into the minus double digits. Calgary, we were out of the north today, so we didn't get the Chinook today. It feels like minus 22 with the wind chill, and there you can see that difference. Already that Chinook machine kicking in through Pincher Creek area where it's +1, but much colder everywhere else. Minus 14 in Lethbridge with the wind chill minus 19, and in Medicine Hat it feels like minus 18. Tomorrow, this is what we're looking at. It will be a very windy day south of Calgary, 90 kilometers per hour, Pincher Creek over to Lethbridge, and around that 50-60 mark for Medicine Hat, Brooks, Calgary, and even Drumheller. But that's going to kick up the temperatures to above freezing for most communities in southern Alberta. Not a whole lot of weather to talk about, active weather other than the wind for tomorrow. We'll have some snow creep down the mountains, so Banff will pick up 2 to 5 centimeters tonight through tomorrow. Outside of that to the east, though, it's quiet. Pincher Creek may see some snowflakes from this as well later in the day tomorrow. All right, longer range forecast for Calgary, your Action Furnace 5-day forecast. 2 degrees is what our high will be, at least, thanks to those winds gusting out of the southwest at 60 kilometers per hour. Still mild on Wednesday at 0. Closer to normal for Thursday and Friday with a high of minus 2. And then it looks like this weekend will be pretty warm, at least 8 degrees by Saturday.
Thank you, Danielle. If you enjoy TV crossover specials, 2 Canadian classics are teaming up tonight. We've got those details just ahead. And this definitely qualifies as an ice-capade. The NHL are stuck mid-rink when he loses a blade. Last year, we took you behind the scenes of a special Calgary Stampede edition of Murdoch Mysteries. What we couldn't tell you then was that episode will include a guest appearance from the star of Heartland, which has been shooting in southern Alberta since 2007. Alicia Fieldberg spoke with the stars about how they're making history in more than one way.
These are two of the finest coppers in the country, and yet I can still shoot better than them.
Amber Marshall is used to shooting Heartland in southern Alberta. But after nearly 2 decades as the lead of the modern Western drama, she gets the chance to channel history in a Murdoch Mysteries episode set at the original Calgary Stampede in 1912.
I've been going to the Calgary Stampede for almost 2 decades now, and to be able to take part in not only the history of that, but representing it, this is so cool for me.
Detective Murdoch and Chief Constable Brackenreed take a vacation to attend the Stampede and get roped into solving a murder with the help of Annie Oakley.
This is an absolute dream come true. My mother-in-law has 2 dogs named Annie and Oakley. It's one of those things when you love and respect the Western lifestyle, and then to be able to go and play such a badass chick is pretty cool.
There are no records of Oakley ever attending Calgary Stampede, but the world-renowned sharpshooter helps tell the story about the rise of Wild West shows.
We do take a bit of license here and there. We are absolutely blessed to be able to be one of the shows that can actually tell part of that story and highlight some of the figures at the time.
Some other historical figures portrayed in the episode actually did attend the first Stampede, including the founder, Guy Wiedeck, and rodeo champ Tom Three Persons. The crossover episode highlights some TV history, too. Both Murdoch and Heartland are in their 19th seasons and are Canada's longest-running hour-long scripted shows.
We think, oh, this is going to be a fun year or two. And then with Heartland and with Murdoch, it just kept going and going. And each year we would look at each other and be like, do you think we'll be back again? And it's an incredible thing.
It's a big deal for everyone involved, and it takes a lot of people. This 3-day Turner Valley shoot alone included 80 local IATSE union workers and dozens more background actors and wranglers, along with some crew members from Toronto.
I think it's a testament to the people and the atmosphere of both these sets. It's just a big family, and everybody feels so comfortable around each other, and it's just a pleasure to be a part of it.
People have always been so warm here. I just love it.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
One of Calgary's most iconic light displays takes a lot of volunteers, and one of the most dedicated is calling it quits after 4 decades. We'll tell you how Otto is being celebrated for his expertise. You likely know the iconic Calgary display, but chances are you aren't familiar with the work that goes into the Lions Festival of Lights every year. Now, as the 2025 event winds down, the organizing crew is preparing for a very different 2026 season and a heavy load that'll need to be passed along. Tim Brooke explains.
3, 2, 1.
Long before the bright lights are turned on, Otto Silzer starts his prep.
It takes about 2,000 hours of man-hours of actual work to actually assemble this. It looks like it happens in a very short period of time, but it doesn't.
The Lions Festival of Lights has been taking over Confederation Golf Course every winter since 1987.
We start actually organizing this thing early in the year. Like when we take it down, we basically plan next year.
And at the center of it all, the man who's ready to hang up his string lights and officially retire at the age of 84.
It's going to be significantly different. Otto brings a personality to it. He brings motivation, brings a great spirit. He does so many more things that other people aren't aware of. He cooks lunch and brings it out in the morning for the guys. He organizes all the work parties. He's here literally every day for 2 months.
This is Otto's last season. A few different people have stepped forward to help do some of his work in 2026, but no official successor has been chosen.
We were just talking about maybe those people can, as a group, do the organizing, lessen the workload, and they don't feel so responsible.
Whatever the answer, generations of Calgarians will be watching closely, and so will Otto.
I'm not getting any younger, and we started this display 39 years ago. Little did I know that I'd still be here.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
He's the backbone. To learn more about the display, which ends January 8th, or to volunteer to help put up some of the 800,000 odd lights, you can visit lionsfestivaloflights.ca. All right, well, we're going to start this week with dog owners who just wanted to say hello to their pet.
Frank! Here's what's up. Come here, boy. Hello. Hello, my boy.
He's like, I know your voices. I can't figure out where they're coming from. They were checking in on him through their home security camera. There's no human contact, but he gave the camera a big lick anyway.
Poor little guy. He's like, what is going on here? I don't understand this.
Home? I don't understand.
Don't get it.
I don't quite get it. Well, sometimes if your week gets off to a rough start, you just need a little bit of help.
Knocks the blade out of Marchman's skate, and he's a long way from the bench. He's going to get a toe here. Severson with some good backpedaling toe. Well, that teamwork.
That's Columbus Blue Jackets forward Mason Marchman. He lost his skate blade, so a teammate tried pulling him to the bench, only took him halfway there, and then he just had to flop around a bit himself and crawl over to the bench.
But he felt like he was a little kid.
Yeah,
back in the outdoor rink, right?
That's right, yeah.
That's how I skate. Yeah. When I'm chasing my kids on ice.
Helpless, but that's
one
all right.
teamed went not tired.
Yeah,
do it on the rest of
I can only
your
help
own.
you so much, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, finally, sometimes when the elevator isn't working, you have to get creative.
Ready, set, go.
Oh boy, this guy skipped the stairs and instead found his own way safely to the ground. If you lost count, base jumper Danny Roman cleared 139 floors at the world's tallest building. That's the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. He didn't even pull the chute until he dropped about 100 floors.
That's crazy.
Oh,
my stomach.
I know. I had to watch that a couple of times. I'm like, ay.
Those guys must really love what they're doing.
They love the thrill, that's for sure.
Wow. What will Red Bull think of next?
Still ahead, we'll take a closer look at the impact for Canada and for the markets now that the U.S. is taking control of Venezuela's oil reserves. Stay with us.
Here's the Skywatch weather camera, and temperatures are going to be a lot warmer tomorrow. You'll certainly notice it. And if you didn't get any pictures of the rime frost, you should get out there and do that now, because we're going to lose a lot of that by tomorrow afternoon as we get above freezing. All right, minus 15 is the current temperature, feeling more like minus 22 with the wind chill. The base ambient temperature, the high today was minus 13 in the city, and normal's minus 3. We'll get much closer to normal this week. The warmer weather kicking in, Pincher Creek +1, but much colder everywhere else in the minus teens. Claresholm, Lethbridge, minus 20s is what it feels like. That's the wind chill in Calgary at the moment, and minus 18 in Lethbridge is what it feels like. We're looking at very gusty conditions tomorrow, all predominantly out of the west and southwest, so 90 kilometer per hour gusts possible, Pincher Creek to Lethbridge, 50 to 60, Calgary down through Brooks and Medicine Hat, Little Tamer and Drumheller at 40. Not a whole lot of active weather other than the wind to talk about. This is your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace. Fix right or it's free. And that freezing fog continues for the evening hours, working its way out overnight tonight. Another thing you'll notice is temperatures will be climbing while we're sleeping. So still a chilly start to the day tomorrow with a wind chill of minus 12. But as you can see, the base ambient temperature of minus 6 in the morning is warmer than what it's going to be, or what it is right now. Then tomorrow afternoon, you're looking at high of +2, gusty conditions up to 60 kilometers per hour. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. President Donald Trump said on Saturday that the U.S. would take control of Venezuela's massive oil reserves. And the fact he is openly threatening the sovereignty of other countries like Colombia, Mexico, and Greenland came into sharp focus in this country today. CTV's Rachel Aiello now on the role of oil and the implications for Canada.
Canadian oil stocks slid today as the energy market absorbed the potential implications of U.S. President Donald Trump tapping Venezuelan oil reserves.
What this says is Trump views oil as super important, which I think as Canadians we should recognize. We have a big oil industry and very big reserves, but it also says that we got to be very careful.
Ex-leader Nicolas Maduro's weekend capture and Trump musing of more military action is sparking international concern.
It's by no means all about the oil. It's about someone defying an American president. That's a pretty powerful example for those who are left.
Canada is no stranger to Trump's annexation threats, and Prime Minister Mark Carney's response so far has been careful. But the president's former national security advisor says he doesn't think this country is at risk.
I think any kind of move against Greenland or even more far-fetched against Canada would be the end of the NATO alliance. It would do incalculable damage not just to the United States, but to the entire Western world.
Carney spoke to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado on Sunday, pledging Canada's support for a peaceful, negotiated, and Venezuelan-led transition process. Critics in this country say Trump's actions are exactly why Canada increasing its economic, military, and diplomatic independence is essential.
Internally, I think this boosts the obligation for Canada to get very serious, for Parliament to get very serious about diversifying our trade exports beyond the irrational administration of the United States.
Global Affairs is urging Canadians to avoid all travel to Venezuela, citing the unstable political situation. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
With a closer look at the impact on the North American markets today, here's BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez.
Canadian oil stocks got battered today as investors worried about the impact of Washington running Venezuela, an oil-rich nation. The big Canadian oil stocks dropped between 5% and 7%. The concern is that under the U.S., Venezuela will release some of its oil reserves into the market and make the U.S. less reliant on Canadian oil. Canada currently exports about 4.5 million barrels of oil a day to the U.S. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.66. West Texas Intermediate is up $1 to 58.32. Western Canadian Select is up a dime to 43.93. And the TSX gained 336 points today to a new record close of 32,219. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
It was Team Canada's last chance to come home with a medal. The juniors faced off against Finland in the bronze medal game. Glenn has the highlights for us next. A bluefin tuna reeled in a record $4.4 million at a fish auction in Tokyo. The 243-kilo fish, that's about 545 pounds, was caught off the northern Japanese coast. The winning bid came from a popular sushi chain and breaks down to about $18,000 per kilo. The bluefin stock that had been threatened is recovering thanks to conservation efforts. It is not the medal that Team Canada was hoping to play for. Glenn is back with us now. Glenn, a tough loss last night for the Canadians.
Tara, Czechia did it to Team Canada once again. They won the semi-final, so they face Sweden in the gold medal game. The Canadians, they went up against Finland this afternoon for the bronze, and it's a great start for Canada in this game. 2-on-1 break. Michael Hage over to Sam O'Reilly, beats Petteri Rimponen with the goal. Came just 1:10 into the game. One thing, Team Canada, the Finns would get that one right back. Heikko Ruohonen drops for Arttu Valala, and he will rip it past Carter George, Finland's first shot on goal. It's 1-1. All kinds of goals in the opening period. Keaton Ehrhoff to Braden Coots. He'll fire it past Rempinen. Canada regains the lead. It's 2-1. Finland gets that one back on the power play. Julius Miettinen, he beats George with the knuckle puck. We're tied at 2. Canada regains the lead. Power play goal of their own late in the first. Zane Parekh rockets it past Rimponen. What a shot. 12-point ties the record for most points by a Canadian defenseman in this tournament. 3-2 Canada. And Canada opens up a 2-goal lead early in the second. Parekh to Tisha Ginla over to Porter Partone. He will score 4-2 Canada. At that point, Parekh breaks the record. And shortly after that, Canada takes it 5-2. Yet another power play goal. Gavin McKenna with a shot tipped in front by O'Reilly. Canada with the 5-2 lead. Canada goes on to beat Finland 6-3 for the bronze medal. Not the medal they wanted, but that win leaves a lot better taste in their mouths.
I know it was not easy for those guys in that room yesterday. I know there's a lot of tears shed and we felt heartbreak, but for that group to, respond the way we did and played a really good 60-minute effort, that's huge for us, and I'm really happy with our result.
No, it's bittersweet. I mean, obviously at the end of the day you want to win, so, it's tough, but we had a great group of guys in the room and we had a lot of fun. Obviously we didn't come home with gold, but, we're leaving here with something.
And Parekh also has the most goals scored in the tournament by a Canadian defenseman with 5. The game between Sweden and Czechia just got underway. No score so far. Calgary Flames wrap up their 5-game homestand at the Dome tonight. It's been a pretty decent 5-game homestand for the Flames. They started out with wins against Edmonton, Boston, and Philadelphia. The Flames took a step back on Saturday night as they dropped a 4-3 decision to the Nashville Predators. Good thing about the Flames of late is their ability to bounce back. They haven't lost back-to-back games in regulation since November the 9th.
You know, when we're at our best, when we're not, guys have a pretty good grip on their own games and understanding you can't string, you know, a bunch of bad performances in a row. And so, you know, I expect us to come out and be really strong tonight. And I think, you know, the game was close last game, but I would say there's a lot of guys in here that feel like they left a lot on the table.
And between the coaching staff and leadership, you know, there's a lot of onus the next match about, you know, coming out hard and playing the right way. And, you know, typically when we play a full 60 minutes the right way, we win more often than not.
Well, the Flames had a new player on the ice this morning. William Stromgren has been called up from the Calgary Wranglers, and although he won't play in tonight's game, there's no doubt the Flames will give him a look in the near future. Stromgren has had another solid season for the Wranglers. In 33 games, he has 6 goals, 23 assists for 29 points. Getting called up is a dream come true for the 22-year-old from Sweden. The first goal he made was to his father.
Just talking to my dad yesterday kind of just bring me back a couple of years. Just kind of where you started off and kind of the dream you have all throughout growing up and stuff. Just playing throughout these teams, going pro, and then get drafted. It's a big dream, and then next dream is just getting the call for sure. So, I mean, it's awesome. It's just a dream come true.
Yes, we look at positions and who fits in what hole and all that, but I think you have to keep trying to reward players, and William's been a really good player for them, both offensively and on the other side of the puck. So this was the time where we felt, you know, after a long time in the minors, he deserves an opportunity to come up, not just because of that, but because of how he's played.
Hunter Brustevich also takes a seat in the press box tonight. A healthy scratch for the Flames. Puck drop for that game a little after 7:30 down at the Dome.
Good stuff. Thank you, Glenn. It is so pretty outside tonight, but it won't last long, as you were saying, because once it warms up, all that rime ice will melt.
Yeah, and you know, we've had over the past week and a bit, we've had a lot of super dense freezing fog out there, which created this beauty for us. And again, you know, rime ice, different from hoarfrost, and one good indication for you is, one, how thick it is, but also how it doesn't often collect on the opposite side of the trees, especially those thick trees. Beautiful. Say goodbye to that as we warm up. Okay, when we look at what's happening for the longer range forecast, 2 degrees is our high for tomorrow. That comes with windy conditions. If you're already getting the migraines, this is why. More of a Chinook setup. No real active weather other than windy conditions at times. So we're going to have the winds out of the west, and then they'll die out, winds out of the west. So over the next few days, it's a little off and on, but either way, it will still be much warmer than what we've had today. And when you look at that longer range for the weekend, for example, 8 and 5 for daytime highs. And then by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, 4, 8, and 9. So a lot of warm weather in our forecast.
Beautiful. Thanks, Danielle. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow.